but he also projected a certain future. And he planned for his sons. He had a good plan. I mean, if he had lived today, he would have even made insurance policies and so on for the children. I want to challenge us fathers. Let's plan something for our children. I mean, even if you don't leave them with a house, leave them with something tangible, something they can build on. And it all comes from planning. Planning. So this man planned well, and this man prepared for the future. So he provided, he planned, he projected the future, and prepared towards the future. Planning for his son's future, preparing an inheritance for them, and all that. These should be the character of a model father. And that is why I see him as an achieving father, a father who works hard, a father who is not lazy, a father who puts all his ideas on the ground to be able to provide for the children, to be able to project the future for them, to be able to plan ahead, and to be able to prepare them for the future. That makes him an achieving father. And as an achieving father, he becomes a model for all of us. This is lunchtime with fathers. And I'm glad to be talking to you about a certain model father who was an achieving father. Yes, many of us may not have gotten there yet, but there is still room while we still have life. Let's start working hard and let's achieve something for our children. And so he was an achieving father. That is number one. Number two, he was an approachable father. He was an approachable father, and he demonstrated it in all ways. I mean, there are certain fathers whose children would never dare to go to him. But because this man operated an open arm policy in the home, his son was able to approach him with a very weird request, and it was acceptable to the father. It didn't make the father a weak man. Interestingly, trust me, the father might even have known that this son would waste the money. It is likely that he didn't even give everything to the son, reserve son, because he knew the nature of his son. Let me just allow him to go and explore, and when it hits him, he will come back. So he was an approachable father. The son went to him with this absurd request, and it was okay. The father, gave it to him. And now, this is a father who would himself approach a son or both sons, one who is coming home and one who is refusing to come home. The father approached them both. He took the initiative. What a father. He is totally different from many other fathers. I call them the Dadaribo fathers. And, we have some situations where the moment the father hits the gates or hits the main road, all the children disappear. Hey, Dadaribo, and everybody scatters. And everybody puts up a very good behavior. At least they put up some looks that resemble some good behavior. Why? Because daddy is coming. And when daddy is home, nobody talks. Nobody does anything. You know. So look, for many fathers, they really don't even know their children. It's interesting that mothers know their children more than we do. Because when the children are with mothers, they can do anything, even including imitating the fathers themselves. So, if the man is not around, the child can tease the mother and, where is my food? Where is my socks? And they can imitate the father. If you want to know how you behave, your children can do that better. But unfortunately, they don't do that in your presence. They do that in your absence, and mostly it's the mother who sees. But this man was not like that. He could be approached by a recalcitrant son. He could even be approached by a servant. I mean, he went to the servant and told the servant, look, all he could have done was just give the command. Look, do this, do this, do this. But no, he was a negotiator. So even telling the servants to kill a calf and do this, he had to explain. Because all these servants knew about the younger son who had taken his share and had run away. They had gossiped about him, and if the son is now coming back, the father wants us to kill a calf. Well, we will do it, but probably we will also have our own gossips, behind the scenes, and our little laughter behind the scenes, and so on. The father preempted all this by telling the servant, look, my son died, was dead, now he's alive. He was lost, now he's found. And that's the reason I'm celebrating. So the servants were equipped with the reason why they had to do this. And then no wonder there was so much music and rejoicing. Even the servants themselves were into it and rejoicing. Because the father, this approachable father, convinced them that it was necessary for the party to come on. And they did so willingly. This man was an approachable father. One, you see, he already envisaged a dissension. He anticipated a little misgiving even from the servants. So he preempted that by explaining. He wasn't surprised that his other son was angry. He anticipated it. So as soon as he got the word, he went out there, and before the son could explain everything, he had already started out with a very good explanation. And then, apart from envisaging the dissension and trying to preempt that, he is also the type who encouraged dialogue. He encouraged dialogue, discussion, exchange of ideas. Now, who dare you question me? If my son goes and comes and I decide to kill a fatted cow for him, who are you? Who born dog? Who are you to question me? But that was not the man's approach. He encouraged dialogue. He allowed the older son to tell him what his problem was with the whole episode. And then he came in with a solution. So he envisaged dissension, he encouraged dialogue, and then he established discipline. There was order in the house, and the son could even testify that the servants in my father's house have enough to eat. They have places to live, they are comfortable, they are well taken care of, and they have so even if I go back, not as a son, but as a servant, at least my accommodation and my remuneration will be guaranteed. This is a man who establishes discipline. And as fathers, we need to be approachable. We need to establish rapport with our children. We shouldn't wait till the children are old and then we want to keep them in line. Let's start by making them comfortable around us. After all, you are the only father your child has. So if he can run to any father, it is you. So when you come back from the office and remove your tie, that should end your office itinerary. When the moment you remove your tie, be a father. I know in the office, your workers may not be able to approach you because you are the strict type. You shout on your secretary when he or she delays in bringing your coffee or what have you. You want to give orders and ensure that your orders are obeyed. Of course, that is what makes you the boss. And without that, your work wouldn't go on. But the moment you step home, remember you have stepped onto a different terrain. Remove the tie, remove the jacket, remove the shoes, and be a father. Let the children be able to come around you. Let them be able to play with you. I mean, just bend over, let them sit on your back. As for children, especially when they are young, they don't care whether you had a problem at work. They don't care whether you are home and hungry. Once they see you, you are their father. Let them enjoy you as their father. Play with them. Now, we'll take time and describe all these things because they are part of the responsibilities of the father. But the bottom line is, make yourself approachable. Make yourself approachable. Make the children comfortable around you. Don't become a scarecrow to your children. To the extent that when they even have a problem, they can't come to you. They have to go through their mother or even through their uncle. Your child receives a bad report from school, and because of that, of the bad report, he can't come home because he's in trouble. As for today, my father will kill me. If your son ever makes that statement, then you are a tyrant. Your son is not saying you will literally kill him, but what he is saying is that what you will do to him is in big, big, big trouble. Why should that be said of you? Should that be said of you? So fathers, let's make ourselves approachable and make our children comfortable around us. So this man in the parable is a model father because he was achievable, he was an achieving father, and he was an approachable father. These two things made him a sort of exemplary father we all ascribe to. Number 3, he was also an affectionate father. He was an affectionate father, a very sympathetic man. You see, Jesus took time to tell us all these details about the Father because he was also referring to the Heavenly Father in this context. And so not only do we see a model father here, we also see the character of the Heavenly Father. And this man was an affectionate father. Why? Because he was ready to restore a sinful son. He was ready to restore a sinful son, and he did that through forgiveness. All the while, when he sat at home, anytime he tuned in to the radio, to any FM, if they existed in those days, all he was waiting to hear was that, oh, there's a gentleman here who is kind coming home, who is looking for his father, and so on and so forth. Fathers, let's be affectionate. Let's be affectionate. You know, in this book, Dare to be a Dad. Dare to be a Dad. I recorded a certain story, and let me see if I can read that story to us here. Let's see. Now, yes, just a brief story. I picked up this story from a Spanish, book, and in that story, a father and a son had become estranged. So the son ran away from home, and the father had no idea where he was or where to look for his son. Several months passed, and there was no communication. So the worried father put an announcement in the Madrid newspaper. And this is what the father wrote for the newspaper to carry. Son, meet me in front of the newspaper office at noon on Saturday. Son, meet me in front of the newspaper office at noon on Saturday. Now, he was hoping that his son would read this and respond. What the father added was that all is forgiven. I love you, your father. So, son, meet me in front of the newspaper office at noon on Saturday. All is forgiven. I love you, your father. He gave no specific details. But guess what? At the appointed time, more than 800 boys showed up, each hoping that the request was for his father. One father put in just a simple advert, and boys read it, and at the third time in front of that newspaper office, more than 800 boys showed up, each of them hoping that that note was sent by the father. How sad, how sad, how sad. Now, of course, it's in this book that we are that, and then later we'll talk about it. But you see, the point is, the father in the story I just told you had forgiven the son. But there were several other sons out there who were hoping to receive forgiveness from their father. This man is an exemplary father because he was affectionate. He restored a sinful son through forgiveness. He did not only restore a sinful son, but he also regained a stubborn son. He regained a stubborn son through forbearance. There was the second son who was self-righteous, who was stubborn, who didn't even want to come in. I can't come in and live under the same roof with a sinful brother. He has gone to waste his money on harlots. Who told him that? That was his perception because he was angry. But the father, who was an affectionate father, came out, and the Bible used the word pleaded. He did not command. He could have, but he pleaded. He rather came out to meet that son and pleaded with him and changed the son's attitude. So this father was an affectionate father. He restored a sinful son through forgiveness. He also regained a stubborn son through forbearance. And the beautiful thing this man did was he reconciled the strained sons through fellowship. He brought the recalcitrant son, he brought the stubborn son, having sorted both of them out, he brought them in and said, now let us celebrate together. So where the two sons would have forever been estranged, the father brought them together and made sure they loved each other again. What a father. What a father. He was for the time expecting the son to come back. And when he came, he forgave him. And yet his obedient one who was safe and sound, he didn't totally neglect or ignore him. He was angry, he calmed him down and then managed to reconcile the son. So our model father was an achieving father, was an approachable father, and was an affectionate father. And finally, he was an admonishing father. He was an admonishing father. A father whose words would calm any son. Sometimes as fathers, we should learn the way to communicate to our own children. Now, especially when they grow up. As a matter of fact, when they grow up, you better treat them as your junior brothers, no longer as your sons. Because, after 18, they are men in their own rights. And so treating them as children will definitely be wrong. So instead of commanding and controlling, you suggest, and when necessary, you plead with them. Because now they are equipped with wisdom, they are equipped with intelligence, and so you can even sit down and reason with them. Very soon, I will be bringing you some seasoned fathers in our society who would tell their story. I once heard one father. Maybe I should mention his name. Professor Kusa, Ghana Health. That's Professor Kusa. He told this story. I was sharing the same platform with him, and for a talk show. And he said this, that when his boy turned 18, he took him out. They sat down, he bought his son drink. And he said, son, now you are a man. Of course, he wouldn't hide it. He bought him a bottle of beer and bought himself a bottle of beer. They sat down and said, now we can chat as friends. You are old. You see, forget about the fact that he bought the beer, that's not my challenge. But the fact that he created the platform for the two of them to chat. And trust me, at that meeting, anything this father told the son would go down very well with him. So now, I wouldn't be buying for you. You would have to start buying for us. And I've heard another prominent politician who also told the son, look, I have money, I have everything, but for some of the things you are requesting for, I won't buy them for you. I want you to work, buy them for yourself, and then you will see how it feels And fathers have done this over the years. Admonish them. Don't talk down on them. Sit them down. Reason with them. That God, He says, come, let us reason together. This should be the approach of a father, an admonishing father. And you know what this man in the parable did? He showed respect to all. He respected the older son. He respected the servants. He respected the younger son. He didn't even allow the younger son to conclude his story, because he was going to add that please take me as one of your servants. For the man, that was not necessary. Quickly, you are back. You were dead. You are now alive. You are lost. You are found. Quickly, let's celebrate. And managed to talk nicely to the servants. And oh boy, for the older son, the father was par excellence. Time explained, look, every other thing I have is yours. I am fully aware that you haven't taken your portion. It's still there. Anytime you want, you can kill a cow, invite your friends, and you can have a party. What I have is for yours. And that settled the son. The father showed respect to all. He also showed restraint, because he could have gotten angry with the other son and told him off. If you won't come home, that's your business. Wait till you also have a son who goes away and comes back home. Wait till you go through what I'm going through, and then you will see how it feels when your son goes out and then comes back, and then you will celebrate. You wait. Who told you? Who born dog? Why? He never. He showed restraint. So even when the son said, this is your son, the father said, this is your brother. Beautiful father. He showed respect, he showed restraint, and he showed responsibility. By all the things he did, he was not bossy, he was not authoritarian. Where he needed to explain, even as a father and a boss, he did explain. And instead of fighting with the sons, he rather won them over. Let's use a lot of dialogue as fathers, especially when dealing with older children. Use more dialogue. Don't use force in letting them have your opinion. Your opinion at a point in their life shouldn't be a take it or leave it thing, or shouldn't be a take it by force. It should be a suggestion. And you should also respect their views. You should respect their views. Even when it comes to choosing their career, respect their views. Guide them. Choosing life partners, respect their choices. Guide them. Our children need us. And I pray that we will be model fathers. We will be like this exemplary dad who was an achieving father, who was an approachable father, who was an affectionate father, who was an admonishing father. And I believe that if we copy these traits, we will always have a peaceful home. We will bring our children together. There are homes where probably the father passed away and the children were at each other's throats over inheritance, going to court, fighting, and so on. following the example of this model father, there wouldn't be anything like that. The children would come together in peace, in brotherliness, and give you a befitting farewell. Don't leave chaos behind you. Be like this model father. Lunchtime with fathers comes to you every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. with me, Pastor Gatti. And it is always my delight to share a few things with you. I have in my hand this book, Dare to Be a Dad. Dare to Be a Dad. It's out there in the market. You can go to Challenge Bookshop for your copies. And you can also contact me anytime. And I will give you the price, because that would have to include the courier service, because we will have to send it to you. Or you can just walk down here. So if you walk down to my office at Kotobadi in the Believer Assembly of God, you can pick up a copy for 40 cities. But if you want me to mail it to you, dispatch it to you, then you will have to add maybe 10 cities for the dispatch. And that would make the book 50 Ghana. I mean, if you want to contact me, let me just give you this number, and then you can call and do your booking. Or for any other conversation, you want to for your men's group, you want us to have a chat on your men's fellowship and what have you can call the same number, 0553 0553 743 753 0553 743 753. Let me say the number again, 0553 743 753. Today I couldn't give shout outs, but I know many of you are listening in, and I want to say God bless you. Wherever you are, I pray that the good Lord will bless and keep you and make you a father of whom your children will be proud. Thank you. The number again, 0553 743 753. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp and request for a copy of Dare to Be a Dad. Barikiwe. God bless. This